Good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you're watching this from. My name's Ryan and welcome to video 4. Today we're going to be talking about treats. Probably one of the most controversial videos I will do in the whole range of these videos. I think I'd just like to start with this isn't meant to upset or offend anyone. This is just my opinion and view and the way I, as a dog trainer, help clients, families, people, kids, whatever you want to do, help them move through their time with their dog. And I'm not dissing or disrespecting any other dog trainer or their ways. This is just my ways, my thoughts, my opinion. You do not have to agree with it, and you certainly don't have to go along with it, but all I'm here is just to provoke thought and maybe just a little bit of help and influence either side. Now, dog treats are one of the widest ways to train in today's society. It didn't used to be, and they haven't been forever. I think we started as a dog training, we started quite negatively, and I think as the years have gone forward, we've become quite positive, and the science behind it is very, very clever. From the bits that I've read and the bits that I've seen and heard, positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement are the ways to go forward with most dog training or tips or tricks, whatever you want to call it. The language that we use around treats, and certainly the language that we use around dogs and the things that go around with dogs, are probably one of the things I want to start with talking about. There are a lot of people nowadays that shy away from what we call negative tactics or the ways to train dogs. Now, in my personal opinion, positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement are the two I try and stick with. Like I've said in my introduction, I'm what would be called a balanced or moderated dog trainer. I'm all about giving the dog choice and just ensuring that the dog learns how or what they should be doing rather than what they probably will do. Positive and negative seem to be what I suppose splits the two in half. Now, when it comes to kind of treat training and the way we kind of use treats, there are a lot of kind of wrong and confused language that we use. So, for example, just positive and negative, they are the same ways to reinforce. But as soon as we start talking about punishment, that is where treats then obviously go out the window. So there are positive and negative styles of dog training, yes. However, but positive reinforcement, all you're doing is just reinforcing the positive. So the positive behaviour that your dog's doing, for example, sit, food goes in the mouth. Positive reinforcement can also be things like speech, so verbal stuff that we've already spoke about, physical stuff that we've always spoke about, and toys that we've already spoke about. So the unfortunate thing with the language straight away is as soon as we start talking about positive reinforcement or training, we go straight to treat training, which is a really unfortunate thing personally. Negative reinforcement, however, is not doing anything negative. All it's just a case is just taking away the positive. And this is the bit that a lot of people struggle with. Because I've used the word negative and suddenly it means kicking, beating and all the rest of it. It really doesn't mean that at all. And I really want people to come away from that. Negative training is just a case of not providing the stimulus that you're not providing the reward that you've asked the stimulus for. So when it comes to language around training and dog people, the first thing that I got asked when I first come on the scene as a dog trainer is, well, how do you train? Well, I didn't answer that person, to be honest, because I was kind of like, well, what's to do with you? I don't even know you. Positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, that's pretty much where I stay to. I'm happy to go in the punishment style, but again, punishment doesn't mean kicking, drowning, beating or anything. Punishment just means just something the dog doesn't enjoy. So it could be just something, a case of just saying no. You know, the harsher ways to punish, I completely stay away from. There's little or no point. The dog is going to, click onto it, and the dog's not going to learn. Negative reinforcement, like we said before, is taking away the positive. So this could be something as simple as walking the dog every day around the same estate. You start the treat training, but halfway around you've run out of treats. Negative reinforcement would then suggest as soon as the dog is still asked to sit, the dog gets no reward for it. So negative reinforcement, all you're doing is just taking away the positive. Now, I can guarantee 95% of the dog world, dog community, dog training professionals, we pretty much do negative reinforcement without even thinking about it. Whether it be walking around your house or walking around the street, it doesn't matter. The reinforcements are still there because you're asking the dog to sit or you're asking the dog to do a certain behaviour. All you're doing is just not using the same reward. I think when it comes to the types and all the big companies, I'm not sitting here slating anybody. I'm certainly not here to make any enemies. All I'm doing is just a little bit of upskill and knowledge. So I'm not willing to sit here and say which treat's the best or which is, the worst. All it's a case of is just please read the back of the packet. If there is a chemical there that you cannot Google or cannot pronounce or cannot spell, is this right to be going in your dog? Yes or no? It's not a case of, well, maybe yes. No, the long and short of it is, why are you sticking it in your dog if you don't know what it is? So when we go and start talking about what's good for them and what's bad for them, it generally depends on the dog and the dog breed, because there are so many things out there that can really upset dogs. And where this is just such a vague chat, it's a case of finding what works for your dog, not what works for next door's dog or anyone else's dog. And even your dad that brings their dog round, your treats that you have in your house probably won't work with that dog. There are some dogs that don't take treats at all. There are some dogs that I met recently or years behind that you give your dog or give the dog a treat or a form of something, and then their arse blows out for the next 24 hours. Is it worth it? Probably not. So all those kind of positive reinforced only, never say no to your dog, negative style, never even wouldn't even consider it. Though to those dog trainers, please just see this. I'm not threatening you. It's just a case of we're just talking about treats. So what goes in must come out. If you're sticking something in that's a bit high in energy, a bit high in carbs, protein, whatever you want to call it, and it's sending your dog off to run around with his pants on his head, probably not the best thing. Or it's coming out with a waterfall or whatever in your garden. Probably not good. Second point, please read the back of the packet. If you've ever tried having a friend round that's vegan or vegetarian or anything like that, they are harder to cook for, but it just means you just reading the packet and just making sure that you're not poisoning them. Not on purpose, that's for sure. And all I'm looking for you to do with your dog is just do the same. Just read the back of the packet. Dog food, there are thousands of companies that go round and claim that they're the best at this, claim the best at that. They might well be, and thank you for coming to the table with those ideas. But again, it's what you stick in your dog is what matters. The one thing I wanted to just kind of quickly point on, there are some things that are not good for dogs, and I've just behind the camera here, I've just got a list of them. So that it kind of goes in a black and white. So it's alcohol. Apparently that leads to I'm just going to read the where is it? The world's most dangerous dogs for food. Most dangerous foods for dogs, more like. And this was created by Design Lab Creative Studio. Okay. So I just basically Googled it. You can pretty much get it. It's a red box in the middle with black and whites going around it. Alcohol can lead to coma, death, and intoxication. Avocado, this is for dogs, not for humans. Avocado contains persin for, and it can invoke vomiting, diarrhea. Raisins and currants can go to kidney failure. Cooked bones for stomach lacerations. Walnuts, macadamias, which are both nuts. Nervous system and muscle damage. Onions and garlic. They can lead to blood cell damage and anemia. Dairy, or if there's too much dairy, then that can lead to diarrhea. Mushrooms, shock and death. My goodness. Caffeine, vomiting and diarrhea. There is one I can't pronounce. I think it's called xylitol. Liver failure, hypoglycemia and death. Chocolate, toxic to heart and nervous system and close to death. Fatty foods and grapes. And some medications. As you can see, there's probably a massive list of do's and don'ts. I mean, I can just look at it here. Bananas, apples, lemons, oranges. There are a whole load of things here that people can say, they can or can't do. Please, what I'm trying to say is that there isn't a perfect list that works for every dog. Please just keep an eye on what your dog is into and what your dog likes. I think when it comes to staying away from foods, the ones that I've just named are the what probably the obvious one to most dog owners, but again, it's just what your dog's into. The last thing I want to leave for food for thought: what's your dog working for? You or the treat? Now, if a lot of you are saying, well, the dog works harder or works only for the treat, then is your style of training correct? If the answer there is yes, my training style is correct, then awesome. You probably shouldn't have anything on your bad list, and your dog is almost good or perfect. Awesome. I'm chuffed for you. Whereas if your dog, if you're now sit there going, no, that's not right, my dog shouldn't be working just for the treat, he should be working for me, then yes, that's where we were going to agree. When it comes to just working for you, I don't want that at all. I want them working for the both. But the paramount being, when you ask your dog to do something, I'd like the dog to be able to say, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm happy to do that because you've asked me, not because you've got a treat in your hand. There are lots of ways to, train dogs, and I'm happy to go through it. The previous set of videos, you'll probably agree now that we have a lot more ways to train than just treats. There are a lot of treat training, dog trainers out there nowadays that only rely on treats, which kind of means that they can only positively reinforce. But unfortunately, what do you do with an aggressive dog on that stance? What do you do if a dog doesn't accept the treats? Therefore, verbal praise, physical praise, toys, fantastic ways to train. However, the treats now, I personally think, other than the little bits of obedience, sit down, no, wait, come, right? All those individual little bits of obedience, more than welcome to use your food for. However, please don't get your dog then only thinking with its stomach, because at that point, you're then almost kind of just jackpotting the dog the whole time, and it's just ensuring that he just wants to just constantly work for the food, and that's not okay. Again, quite diverse opinion, and I'm sure to some people this might be quite refreshing. Others it will probably be laughable and they'll dismiss it. Treat training isn't the only way to train, I promise you. Whoever then kind of tells you that it is the only way to train or the only way they should way to train, you're more than welcome to question them. Those people with those opinions should be able to give you enough of a reason that is stronger than this one to be able to tell you that treat training is the only way to train. You should never say no to your dog. I'm up for conversations about it. I'm sure there have been thousands of people that have ranted and raved about it online. Please, when you are then finding yourself your trainer, just ask them, are we going to be force feeding today, or are we going to be actually going to do some dog training that the dog learns something for other than its stomach? I've had quite a few people that come back to me and say, well, Ryan, I wouldn't work if I wasn't being paid. Okay, fair enough. So I've been to Afghan with the army 3 times. Would you say that the money that I was being paid for being out there, would you say that was enough and probably worth the work? Nah. Probably no amount of money would probably get me back out to Afghan. No way. But the physical praise, the handshakes, the pat on the back, the beer at the beer in your local pub or whatever, they were worth it. People walking up to me and saying, Ryan, thank you so much for going to Afghan for your country. You're brilliant. Thank you so much. The verbal praise, fantastic. All made it worth it. When it now comes to the treat training, no. The money was nowhere near worth it. But did I still go? Of course I did. So just looking at this just very rare example, will your dog only work for treats? It will if you teach him to. I hope this has made some sense. I hope this is thought-provoked. I don't want an argument. I don't have time to argue. I really don't. If you want to leave me your opinions and how you felt the video was, or the couple of last videos, you're more than welcome to get in touch. It'd be lovely to hear from you. Alright, thank you very much for listening. My name's Ryan, this is Rise. All the bits and pieces for how to get hold of me and everything are on the links on that will follow. I can't wait for you to hear the rest of the stuff. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you.